Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Jesse, also known as Sublime, and today we're back in another spin and go. Sadly, we're only spinning for 200,000, and guys, I just want to say how good it feels to be back and to be making videos and having my voice back again. I've been kind of waiting for this for almost the last 3 weeks now, so I'm very excited to be making videos again and just having a good time. We get a 10-6 here on the small blind, and we just end up calling the 10. The flop comes out 3-3-2. I end up checking, so does Benny. A 9 shows up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna feel this guy out. See how he kind of plays. I throw it a bet for 50, and he ends up folding the cards. So we're good on that one. We win that pot, and we're on to the next hand. The next hand we end up getting is a king, queen. Very strong hand, and I'm kind of just looking to see what the names of the people are on the table here. Flop comes out for ace 4 with 2 clubs on the board. Benny ends up throwing out a bet for 40. I look at my cards again. I say, you know what? I can't play that, and I end up folding those cards as well. On to the next set of cards we got here is a 5 and a jack. Nothing special. And the guy to right of us, Sensation X, ends up going all in. We can't go all in with 5 jack. He ends up showing he went all in with a 6-3. That's a huge tell for me. I'm like, holy smokes, this guy's gonna go all in. The next thing we get is the pocket rockets on the small blind. Now, I was like, I'm gonna play this slow, and hopefully a card that comes up on the flop is something that he has. Queen 10-5 comes out, a 9 shows up, another 9 shows up. I throw out a bet for 100. I'm like, you know what? Maybe try to buy the pot, maybe look like that. But I end up showing I have pocket rockets, and he's like, oh my goodness gracious. I then get a 3-2 of hearts here. I always like playing 2-3-3-2. It's one of my favorite hands to play. To be honest, I've hit it more times than I've lost with it. But this time we ended up losing. We get a 10-10-4 here on the flop, and he goes all in, so I gotta fold it. I can't be calling a 10-10-4 with 2-3. Come on, I need a runner to hit the straight. And then get a 10-6 here on the big blind yet again. Another 10-6 in our hand. It's Sensation against myself. Flop comes out 3-7-3. Both end up checking, and another 3 shows up. I say, you know what? I'm going to bet a little 50 here. Sensation calls it. And I took a play out of his book. Watch this. He ends up checking. I throw my all-in chip, and he's like, instantly folds. I took a play from his book, and it worked perfectly. We end up taking a little bit off of him. And I think we're chip leader at this point. Yeah, we are. We're 595. He pretends like he's going to go all in, but he doesn't. I end up throwing out the 15 to call, and the flop comes out 5 ace 6. I have a 3-7. Remember, I need to hit a 4 here, and I get a straight. Or maybe get a runner of clubs. That could be an option too. Turn comes out a jack, not the card we're looking for, so our flush potential's gone. But hey, if we still hit that 4, we could hit it. That's why I'm still calling, because it's a min bet. But the 4 doesn't come out on the river. We didn't suck out. And he throws in his all-in chip. Benny throws his all-in chip in the mix. And I gotta fold it. If a 4 popped up, definitely would have called. But a 4 didn't show up, so we had to fold it. Sadly. The next set of cards we got, though, is a Queen 7. And the flop comes out 10 Queen 3. He ends up throwing out a bet for 7. I throw out a bet for 75. And then he ends up going all in here. There was 3 clubs on the flop, but sadly, I had to fold it. I did not have 1 club in my hand, and he showed he had it on the flop. You then get a 10 queen here on the big blind. I raised it to 65. Benny ended up calling it, and we get a 4-3 ace here on the flop. I ended up throwing out a bet for 200 to kind of buy what was there. And we ended up winning it here. We get a 9-3 on the small blind. We gotta fold it. There's no way we play those cards. A 9 and a 3, come on now. There's no way. We then get a 10 ace here. I end up raising the buy-in to 90. And Sensation goes all in. I say, you know what? Ace 10, it's a pretty good hand. So I end up calling all in. And he shows he has a Jack 10. The flop comes out 10-3-3. Then a 6. Then a king. We end up taking that pot home. And Sensation is left with like barely anything left in his stack. As you guys can see, I think there's only 20 bucks left there. Now he's left with 5 plus his buy-in. Alright, so he goes all in. And we're heads up now. It's a turnout, or it's one of those ones where you get to see each other's cards. 2 shows up, then a 6 shows up. We end up taking him home. We beat him 2 hands in a row to knock Sensation out. Now we're heads up against Benny. We then get a 7-10 here on the small blind. The flop comes out 7-8 ace. He ends up checking. I throw out a bet for 15. I'm like, you know what? 7 could be good in this situation. Throw out 75 chips. He ends up calling it. Then another 8 shows up. At this point, you know, he throws out a bet for 75. I'm looking at my cards and say, you know what? I don't think a 7 would be any good here. And he just ends up throwing those cards back at me. We then get a king 4. He ends up folding it though, so we don't even get to play the king 4. And I'm trying to explain to Benny how you can show his cards, because he wanted to show me beforehand how to, he wanted to show me what cards he had, but he didn't know how to flip them over properly. We hit a 2 pair here on the flop. I throw out a bet for 75, and this is how I showed him that he has to hit his thumbstick, and this is a tip for you guys too. You have to hit your thumbstick, click it down, and then the cards will flip over. Right, so he had a 10-8 there, and he showed me, and I showed him I had a 6-2. Look, I flopped the nuts. Right, so we then get an ace-9 here on the big blind suited. Very strong hand. For us, the ace-ace-queen ends up showing up, guys. We have a 3 of a kind. And yeah, I was just showing him, like, don't do it when there's 2 people here, because, you know, it could be, it could be bad if I was able to see your cards here. He checks. I'm like, I have a 3 of a kind. I gotta throw out a bet for 50 here. And he ends up raising it to 120. I'm like, I have a 3 of a kind. What do you? It's a rainbow. I gotta end up raising it up to 160. Well, then he re-raises it up to 200. So I re-raise it back to 250. He has to go all in, and lo and behold, he flips over ace queen. He flopped the absolute nuts, guys. He flopped a full house, aces full of queens. That is, for that to happen, for me to have a 3 of a kind and for him to have a full boat, so rare. But it happened. It happened, and I lost that. Luckily for us, we're still not that far behind him, so it won't be an issue for us down the line. We both end up checking, check, check. We check, 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 check back and forth. And he ends up winning it with the queen, king. He had the king. We then get a 10-4 here on the big blind. We just end up folding that away. We then get a queen 5 suited here of diamonds. The flop comes out 6-8-6. And we throw it a bet for 200, and he ends up folding it. We get to buy that pot and get our chip stack just a little bit higher. We then get another 10 queen, and he just ends up folding it. I really wanted to play those cards. I really wanted to. You then get a queen 7, and I was thinking about re-raising it, but I'm like, queen 7, there's not much really I can do. At this point, I think Benny, I don't know what happened. He lagged out or something, and I'm trying to wake him back up here. I'm like, hey, Benny, get in here, man, get in here. And he ends up coming back. He's glitching out, he's lagging, he's like a cyborg. But he's here, he's back playing. We're back to playing poker now. So that's a good sign. The flop comes out 9-6-4 with another 9. We both end up just checking it. Then a 4. So we had 3 diamonds on the board. We end up winning it with high card. And we just, like I said, get to add a little bit more to our chip stack. We get pocket 4s here. But Benny doesn't want to play it. He ends up folding the cards away. Then we get ace 4 here on the small blind. I end up re-raising it up to 150. And he ends up folding it. So he sacrifices a big blind to me as well. So I'm kind of at this point, I'm now in a chip lead by double. And he doesn't want to play those cards. So he gives me another 50 chips, guys. We're looking really strong here. We're looking like a huge candidate to win this whole tournament. Then get an ace 7 here on the small blind. Suited again. The flop comes out 6-4 king. We got 2 clubs. We also have 2 clubs in our hand. We're on a flush draw. He ends up checking it. I re-raise it to 100. And he calls me. He has to have something. Then a 5 shows up. He checks it. I'm still going into it like I have something big here. Even though I'm on a flush draw, I can make it look like I have something. I showed him, hey, I had the flush draw, you know, because he was saying, well, what do you have? And I showed him. We then get a 3-6 here on the big blind. We end up checking it back and forth. The flop comes out 3-4-5. I check. He checks. Then a jack shows up. I throw out a bet for 100. And he ends up just folding it away. We then get a 9 queen. It's 1300 to his 50. Flop comes out 6-3-6. Check, check. Then a jack. Then another 3. There's 2 pair on the board. We both check. We both end up winning. We both have a queen here. So we both end up winning that. It's split again. Then we get 10-6. He calls. I check. Flop comes out 8 queen 6. I have a pair of 6s here. He ends up just going all in. I say, you know what? I'll call it. I got a pair of 6s. And lo and behold, he has a 4 king. Then a 10 shows up. That seals the deal. And we end up winning this game. I want to thank you guys for coming out and watching this video today. You guys are truly, truly some of the best fans on YouTube. If you guys haven't joined the Discord, make sure you guys go down below. Join the Discord. If you guys haven't liked the video already, make sure you like the video. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. And yeah, there's tons of big things coming, guys. I can't really talk about it right now, and I said this on my stream today, but just stay tuned. There's some big announcements to come this way. And yeah, thank you guys all for the support and getting me to where I am today. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye now.